Hey, so amazing. You see how they playing? Live wire, it's all about sports and entertainment. You don't want to miss it, so official like you never seen. Keep it going till the whistle blowing from the referee. Everything from highlights and stats. You know that we gotta run it back, whether on the field or on the court. You know that this is where it's at. Subscribe, no delaying. This is Live Wire, sports and entertainment. Let's go.
All right, what's good, everyone? Welcome to a Cool Down Thursday edition of Live Wire Sports Media. So we already have the exit interviews for the Indiana Fever already kicking off. I do believe Amber Cox was the first one, then Stephanie White, then Lexi Hall, Natasha Howard, and Aaliyah Boston is up. So there's no Caitlin Clark yet or Sophie Cunningham, so they'll be coming soon. But once Caitlin Clark speaks, I will bring another video to you. But this one is particularly between Stephanie White and Caitlin Clark. Stephanie White said something very, very particular in her exit interview with pertaining to Caitlin Clark. Now, as we know that Caitlin Clark most likely would not play in Unrivaled this offseason due to her complications of her injury and everything like that. And I said this before that Caitlin Clark was not playing in Unrivaled because it's a 3-on-3. Stephanie White alluded in her exit interview that Caitlin Clark needs to play 5-on-5 this offseason. It's been too long to get her mechanics. And pretty much from the sounds of it, they messed Caitlin Clark's mechanics up. So let's drop this tidbit piece from this exit interview with Stephanie White.
Hey, Steph. I guess I know it's all still fresh, but at this point, I guess how are you starting to think about approaching the offseason with Caitlin, both from a, just getting her back on the floor standpoint with the recovery and rehab, but also just when she's back on the court, what that will look like and, trying to get her back.
Yeah, I mean, obviously those are some conversations that we'll continue to have with Caitlin, but, I think first and foremost, as she builds up her endurance, her on the court activity, making sure that she's healthy, and then continuing to move forward in terms of mechanics, number one, and number two, basketball. She's got to, at some point in this off season, play 5-on-5. It's going to have been a long time since she has, and so how we get that together, we'll have to see. We'll continue to have those conversations, but once she's feeling good from a movement standpoint, from a soreness standpoint, and then building back that endurance on the floor without losing some of those, mechanical tweaks and mechanical improvements, then we'll start building back up. And, it's a long off season. And she's had a long, year from this point. So, it'll be baby steps. And I think for us, again, the most important thing is that she's healthy before we really, really ramp up.
Brian, then Josh.
All right, so you heard what Stephanie White had to say about Caitlin Clark and her ramping up to get her back healthy. The main thing is getting her back completely healthy and then start ingratiating her. So she could play overseas with Chloe Bibby, and I think somebody else is playing overseas as well in Australia. And she could play in AAU, well, not AAU, but AU Athlete Unlimited, which starts in February. So that'll give her enough time for what? This is October. She's been out over 2 months. She got November, December, January. She got 3 months to really get her health back to order and then probably play in AAU, which AAU is on Athletes Unlimited. Let me start saying AAU. Athletes Unlimited only lasts 4 weeks. So that's a good thing. That gives her from February 4th all the way to the middle of March to play 5-on-5 to get her body back conditioned and be ready to have a month down and then be able to play in for training camp, when the 2026 season kicks off. So she could be playing some other stuff. She could do like some other stuff in the meantime as she feel healthy and ready to go, I'm sure. But the main thing about it is that they should never have messed with Caitlin Clark's mechanics. They should allow her to be who she was instead of trying to change her, instead of incorporate other little packages for her, instead of changing her mechanics, how she dribble, how she run, and all of this stuff. You don't want to tweak so much of it's like a quarterback in the NFL. If you take a quarterback and they already doing something now, if a quarterback has bad footwork, that's different. But if they strengthen their arm and throwing downfield and really good, and you want to get on the throw in the immediate, that's different. But when you change the whole dynamic of their mechanics, it throws them off, and they don't seem like the same quarterback. You don't want to. What made Caitlin Clark is her ability to do the things she's doing. And Stephanie White did not allow her to be that way. Instead of just trying to change her, allow her to play her style this season. And then if things need to be tweaked, like giving her some more packages to utilize, to practice on her floater more, utilize her dribble a little bit better, bring that out of her instead of trying to change her to where you wanted her to go. And that's what messed Caitlin Clark up. And I guarantee some of that stuff kind of had Caitlin Clark messed up and got her hurt. Caitlin Clark, that's like telling Michael Jordan you need to be a post player. It doesn't. That's like telling Steph Curry you need to assist more. Let them be who they are and stop trying to change them into your liking. That's bad. That's bad. And that's why a lot of people was upset and annoyed with Stephanie White, because she tried to change Caitlin Clark for who she was instead of allowing Caitlin Clark. Caitlin Clark is the system. You need to build around Caitlin Clark, not allow Caitlin Clark to fit into your system. What was working last year should have worked this year and been better, 10 times better. But you kind of like dumbed it down and messed everybody up. You messed Aaliyah Boston up, you messed Lexi Hall up, and you damn sure messed Caitlin Clark up. But you empowered Kelsey Mitchell to do what she did. If anybody needed to have their mechanics changed, it was Kelsey Mitchell.
Stuff with Lexi Hall, she kind of seemed to find her shot there.
Okay, so she's going into Lexi Hall right now, but to me personally, I just think that it was bad for business for her to do that. It was bad. It was bad for Stephanie White to do that. It shouldn't have never been that way with her. Shouldn't have never it shouldn't have never been that way. Should never been that way and stuff like that. So let me show you what Stephanie White said on X real quick. That's bad. She really tried to ruin Caitlin Clark this season instead of allowing Caitlin Clark to play the style of basketball she needed to. So basically, right there, Chloe Peterson said, let me see if I can bring it up a little bit more. Let's see if I can. I think it's right there. Yeah, she said that's Kelsey Mitchell. I didn't want that one. There we go. That's the one I wanted right there. All right, yeah. She said, Stephanie White said the top priority for Caitlin Clark this offseason is to first that she's feeling 100%, then building her endurance back up on the floor without losing mechanical tweaks or improvement to her game. So, and then she talked about 5-on-5. To me personally, you should have never messed with her at all. You should have left her alone. You should have left her alone completely and everything like that. And everything would have been fine. Everything would be fine. But anyway, get down in the comments. Let me know what your thoughts on Caitlin Clark not playing in on Rival. Now, the only way she won't play in on Rival is if she pretty much, if our Rival turns to 5-on-5, and I doubt they'll turn to 5-on-5 immediately in this upcoming season. but most likely Caitlin Clark probably will play in somewhere at Athletes Unlimited, or she may go overseas. So stay tuned for that. Only Caitlin Clark will know when she come off on her interview. Like I said, when her exit interview comes up, I will bring you the news to that. So stay tuned for more updates on Livewire Sports Media, the worldwide leader in sports.
Hey, so amazing. You see how they playing. Live wire, it's all about sports and entertainment. You don't want to miss it, so official like you never seen. Keep it going till the whistle blowing from the referee. Everything from highlights and stats. You know that we gotta run it back, whether on the field or the court. You know that this is where it's at. Subscribe, no delaying. This is Live Wire, sports and entertainment. Let's go.